Good everyone and welcome to today's IAB Europe webinar. I'm Claire Perfit, Business Programs Manager at IAB Europe, and I will be moderator for today's session. So the second in a two-part sell-side buy-side webinar series goes on from the launch of our Programmatic Library, which aims to illustrate good practice and increase understanding across the industry. So in 2015, IAB Europe undertook a piece of research called Attitudes Towards Programmatic Advertising, revealed that hiring and training people with the right skill set was a barrier to adoption of programmatic on behalf of the advertiser, agency and publisher respondents. So with this in mind, we've aimed to educate the industry through a number of initiatives, and our latest one is this Programmatic Library. So I will highlight the strategic opportunity that programmatic offers and bring together buy-side case studies from across Europe. So it can be accessed on the IAB Europe website under best practices. The webinar will last approximately 45 to 50 minutes, with about 35 minutes of presentations from our speakers and then a 15-minute Q&A. It is recorded and will be available to watch and share after today. So to start, let's just take a couple of moments to view the WebEx control panel. So firstly, you should see a control panel on the right-hand side of your screen. Utilize this by clicking the double arrow button in the upper left, and you can expand by doing the same. A chat panel and a Q&A panel, so you can submit any technical queries or issues to the chat panel to myself, and I will respond to these. And submit any questions for today's speakers using the Q&A panel located near the bottom of the control panel. Answer these questions during the webinar and also address any others during the Q&A session at the end. If you need to raise your hand during the webinar, you can do so by clicking the red exclamation mark icon just above the chat panel. Summarise technical issues in the chat panel and questions for today's speakers in the Q&A panel. So take a moment to introduce today's speakers. So Kevin Capota, Digital Acceleration Manager from L'Oreal, and Papalaya, Solutions Consulting Manager at VivaKey. Tracy, Senior Director of ATG at AppNexus. Natal Morris, Programmatic Solutions Project Manager at Adform. And Ed is Head of Travel and Tourism at Rocket Fuel. So welcome to today's speakers. I'm now going to hand over to Kevin and Joel for their presentation. And Joel, I'm just unmuting you.
Thank you. Kevin speaking, and
this is Joel speaking.
First, I think a short introduction. We, as L'Oreal, decided to test on programmatic marketing, and we used a campaign for MAYBELLINE, which is one of our bigger makeup brands, and specific category brow. So brow shaping is one of the fastest growing segments in makeup, and we number one of this category, and we built this by awareness on TV, but now a year later we wanted to do more storytelling and go more digital. That's why we chose to do this campaign together with Zenit. Of course, programmatic is about your right insights. So to build our case, we used basically the trend data to see that the interest of these words of brow specifically is something that is all year long. So we are used to communicate within FMCG with push campaigns, with burst campaigns, and this was really for us the proof to say, okay, we need to go to a more always-on pull approach. And the insight is, if you look at the search queries that are out there, there are a lot, and it's all about how to use them, why to use them. So there's also a lot of unclarity in the category, and also something you can't address with a TV spot. So insight is more from our own research, is that there are different motivations to use brow products. and also the base of our campaign that we set up. So instead of going for demographic targeting of women 8 to 40, something that we normally do, we decided to split the different kind of users that are out there. So there are women who are interested in more the functional aspects of a browse, so to fix in their browse, for instance. There are makeup users that are looking for how to extend their expression in their face, and users who would basically do everything that the celebrities do, what is on trend. And so the 3 groups we used throughout our campaign. And then go to the objectives of the campaign. The big idea is that because multiple products to your brow, to show that we have a solution for every brow problem. Objective was to go full funnel, so build from awareness to consideration and pull them in the funnel towards a buy, but Joel will explain more about that. Target groups are not women 80-34, but they're really these different cases of makeup users. We ran a campaign for half a year, which is for us almost an eternity in L'Oreal. How? By campaign, programmatic marketing, storytelling. And well, maybe one back. The programmatic had also said to us as an advertiser, it's the right message to the right person, the right place, at the right time. And for a pilot campaign, it was for us to find out what is the right message, who is the right person, where and when, and how to translate this in a creative. So this was really the learning process that we went through in this campaign.
So now I'm going to tell you a bit more about how we built this campaign and the process towards setting up this campaign. Just quickly. When we first got together with all stakeholders involved, we defined which audiences we were going to reach, in which way, and what we were going to tell them. So all stakeholders were, of course, Zenith Optimedia, Google, and the creative agency. This brainstorm that we did eventually resulted into a newly created framework, the programmatic blueprint, which you see the slide. As you can see in the slide, the document gives all people involved in the campaign a good overview of the campaign, so how it's structured, how it needs to be set up. And it was used by the creative agency to design and build the creatives, and also by the programmatic team at Zenith Optimedia to actually set up the campaign. On to the slide. So the brow consumer journey. In this slide you see the consumer journey that we created for the Maybelline Brow campaign, and it's a full storyline with messages we wanted to show people that were not aware of Maybelline Brow. Of course, not all consumers start at step 1. So audiences, technical audiences, to from owned media to exclude people from receiving messages that were not relevant to them anymore because they were already aware of Maybelline Brow products, for instance. And to quickly go through all the steps in this slide. The message that we wanted to bring across is Maybelline offers brow products. People know that. We wanted people to know that Maybelline offers information about brow shaping. So, for the consumers that do not really know how to do brows, Maybelline offers them more information about this. And it also advises you about the right solutions to your brow problem. In the fourth step of the consumer journey, we told people that Maybelline, well, obviously has products for your brow shaping, but that Maybelline also offers the products at a discount. People could order the product at Wacom, which is the local e-retailer. And that after you've purchased the product, Maybelline can also help you to use the brow product in a perfect way to get the perfect result. And if you're satisfied with the product, you can leave a review on Maybelline's website. In the next slide, I will show you. I skip to the next slide. Yes, I can. I will show you in a bit more visual way how this storyline live. So we mapped the different creative messages on the CX loop, the consumer experience loop that we use at Zenit Media. On the left side in step 1, you see the commercial for Maybelline Brow with all 3 products that offer a solution to the different brow problems out there. And we own media audiences to differentiate between people known with Maybelline, so who have either visited Maybelline's website or subscribed to Maybelline's YouTube channel, or viewed any of their videos on their YouTube channel. People unknown Maybelline. Of course, Maybelline is a very well-known brand, but these people we did not data about yet. As you can see in this slide, is that both audiences performed above average. Known audience delivering best performance with a view-through rate of almost 25%. In step 2, high-impact display ads across all screens that show the different problems that different brow problems that Maybelline offers a solution for. Those were shown to people that viewed the video in step 1. Actually, complete video. Dynamics. Here, tailor-made dynamic creatives. And then the step 3, people could go to the brow portal to more about the product that fit their needs best. And this is also the place where we actually shifted from problem to product, so solution offered to the consumer. And the visitors of the product of the portal could click to Maybelline's retail partner website to actually purchase the product at a discount. So moving on to step 5, people that did not purchase the product right away on a display ad again, brow product that they had shown interest in. Well, we tried to bring them back to the retailer's website to actually purchase the product. In step 6, we used tutorials that were created for each of the 3 brow products in the Maybelline brow line. This was a 1.5-minute video in Dutch from a local makeup artist. It demonstrated how to use the product that the consumer bought. And what we saw here is that the view-through rate was more than the view-through rate in the first step. It's over 30%, which we think is a strong sign of increased relevance for consumers at this point of the CX loop. In step 7 in the tutorial video, we used info cards on YouTube to direct people back to the Maybelline website to leave a review for the product that they had purchased online. Just really quick on step 2, we use dynamic creatives. What you can tell on this slide is that we saw improvements in CTR for both formats used, to 3 times higher CTR for the billboard, for instance. Like Kevin mentioned, this wasn't always on campaign for Maybelline. And this gave us more time to optimize. So what you see in this slide is a graph that shows you that the overall viewability of the campaign improved significantly. Also, the viewable CPM, which was one of the KPIs for step 2 and step 5, it did well over time. And then to end the key takeouts of this campaign. Using dynamic creatives for optimization significantly improved campaign performance. Personalized messaging for different audiences across the entire consumer experience loop drove higher engagement. Audiences from owned media, like we did in step 1, the TV commercial on YouTube, improved campaign performance from the start. And media programmatically from one platform, increased efficiency across the entire campaign, and get more insight into the consumer journey. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. That's great. That was a great insight into that Maybelline campaign. So I'm now going to hand over to Anna, who will provide some insight into using programmatic to deliver timely and relevant campaigns. So I'm handing the control over to you. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Hear me?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so I'm just going to go to the next slide. Yeah, hi everybody, I'm Anna Tracy. I'm a Senior Director on the DSP team, Demand Side Platform team at Nexus. Today I'm going to talk to you about programmatic and the power of audience targeting, first-party data, improved viewability, and reach and scale. In case you don't already know, at Nexus is the world's largest independent advertising technology company. We work with publishers, we work with agencies and advertisers around the world to help capture the full potential of programmatic. First, I'm going to talk to you about a case study that we did in conjunction with one of our partners, Blue Mango, and the advertiser Vodafone. It's a mobile-first campaign, and essentially what the goal was for Vodafone, they were trying to reach people living abroad. And they had 2 different strands of individuals. One were existing Vodafone customers, and they wanted them to activate their roaming bundle. And then it was also non-Vodafone customers to let them know about the benefits of Vodafone's roaming bundles and how they could save money there. What actually happened was using a hyper-targeted GPS location targeted users that were moving towards borders in Europe, knowing that they were likely to go on holiday or away on business. And they actually targeted those individuals both at that point, but also with dynamic creative that was based on language of the sites that they were visiting, the carrier, obviously, whether they were Vodafone or non-Vodafone customers, and also specifically where they were headed on destinations, and actually target the creative using images from places that they were travelling to, which again led for extremely improved conversions, which is ultimately what everyone's trying to achieve here. So the things that are important, I think, on a campaign like this that is so hyper-targeted is that you really need the scale, because if you are drilling down to a very finite user base, unless you have very, very large scale on a platform like Nexus, your campaign simply won't deliver incredible volumes. So that's the Vodafone one. I've also got one about all posters, and this campaign was quite an interesting one. It's all about first-party data. It was in conjunction with another partner of ours, Numberly, and it really shows the value of CRM data when it can be broken out of silo and used imaginatively. Both the client agency wanted complete transparency and to truly measure the impact of first-party data, which is why they chose that Nexus. They ran a traditional campaign alongside this. Essentially, again, you can kind of see from the numbers it's a huge boost to order value. And it's really, really important when doing programmatic. It's probably one of the most important factors is that clients are utilising their first-party data. So being AppNexus has open APIs which allows CRMs and DMPs, sorry for all the three-letter acronyms, can happily point you to the AppNexus glossary of terms if some of this is unfamiliar. But one of the things that we have, as I said, is an open API, which allows us to integrate with many, many other data providers, one of them being the CRM system that all posters used. So we had access to their data, and then there was full transparency in terms of reporting per campaign and creative per hour. AppNexus actually delivers 90 different reporting metrics per impression. And again, very important when you're trying to retarget users, again, from a limited pool, is to have incredible scale in order for you to do that. Is this one unfortunately can't be named who this is, but it's a rather large financial services provider. And this one's all about viewability, so slightly untraditional in comparison to some of the other ones which have been more performance related. This was very much more around brand. Viewability is increasingly a metric for brand campaigns. Usually these types of campaigns are traded through PMPs or deals because rather than the open exchange, because they tend to focus on more premium inventory. This project shows that programmatic can be used effectively across multiple PMPs to give a consistent measure of viewability, and then that reporting can be used to then optimize against those PMPs. In this instance, it wasn't just a desktop viewability campaign, it was also across mobile as well. I think the key thing here is that, you know, as programmatic grows up and goes into different spaces other than just performance, it's important that the KPIs are considered more than for brand campaigns, such as things like reach and viewability of your messaging. Next, this is the last one from me. As you can see, they're quite snappy little case studies. I'm very happy to go into more detail if needed at the end, or you can reach out to me for more information over email as well. This one really talks to our scale, but specifically in video. Increasingly, good imagery is very hard to find in the video space. If you are looking for extending reach against a certain pool of users, again, that scale thing is very important, and especially so with video. By integrating video buying tools, the AppNexus platform allows buyers like Xaxis and Collective here to target audiences across the web. And programmatic has significant reach and engagement, which can ultimately help you reduce your costs. So those are the kind of the key results here. AppNexus reached 10x times better performance in terms of delivery than just video-specific DSPs, purely because of the reach of users that we have, because we work across multiple channels, not just video. And consequently, because of that reach, engagement increased massively and costs also as well. So kind of some of our more straightforward case studies, but I think into 2016, 2017, we are seeing customers taking advantage of the uniquely open platform that we operate to test new levels of customization, including far greater use of their data, the scale and reductions in video latency to drive campaign performance across direct response and brand. Perhaps one of the most exciting ways that we see innovators in this space is a new suite of tools that we call programmable marketing, which allows marketers to open up the black box of programmatic and actually innovate right down to the algorithm within the bidding process. But I think that is going to be for a next level webinar, so I'll stop there. Very much, everybody.
Sana, that's great. I'm now going to hand over to Natasha. So, Natasha, over to you. Unmute you.
Hi. Just popping on my slides there. My name is Natasha. I work in the UK office of Adform across our programmatic solutions. And just to give you an overview of Adform, we're an independent, open, universal ad management and delivery platform. And just to launch into some of our case studies. So, having used our ad server for quite some time and a few other products, Deutsche Telekom decided to venture into programmatic branding. And they decided to use our DSP and DMP in order to harness its full power and launch a new product that they called Magenta Mobile Start. And a KPI for this campaign was then to promote awareness of Deutsche Telekom's new product and to target a specific audience using data they'd collected within our DMP. And then they wanted to drive traffic to the Deutsche Telekom website. So how they did this was through using some high-impact creative formats, the billboard half page, so the 970 by 250 and 300 by 600, high-impact use. And they wanted to deliver this across different channels, so desktop, tablet, and smartphones. And they decided to trade this exclusively through deals negotiated via the Adform team and media owners in Germany. They collected and were looking to then target across was focused on predominantly male customers aged 30 to 59. And this was the first party data they'd collected. Then in the Adform suite, we chose to extend that audience with the DMP to look to broaden the length and the reach of the campaign. Then also used a number of our different integrations that we have with third-party data and keyword advertising clients within the platform to extend and qualify that audience further. The campaign was executed in a few different phases, and I'll just walk you through that now. Initially, the user is targeted with one of the brand formats, chosen at random. If they click, they're targeted then with a performance banner, pushing them further down towards reaching those KPIs and those goals. Second stage of this was if the user did not click on the branded format and they weren't pulled in by that initial call to action, they're then targeted with a second brand format with a different message and a different variation on that creative. If they click, then they'll be targeted with a performance banner and again pushed down towards one of those KPI goals. And then the third stage comes and again, the user targeted with a different banner, different call to action, and we give them a third time to engage. And if they do, then they're also targeted then with the secondary performance banner. If at the third option the user did not engage, then we'll cross them off the list for this campaign as it's qualified that they're not going to engage further. If the user does click and then do the performance stage and the KPI goals, so if the traffic is driven to the website, then they're also erased. And this just eliminates targeting people who are going to engage with the campaign further, and it also means that you're always engaging with a new audience and your budgets are being spent more effectively. The results sort of speak for themselves. So our source here and our benchmark here, a point of reference, comes from the Adform Digital Advertising Benchmark Report we release every year. And programmatic brand is sort of our bag. So we monitor and look across the board at various creative performances. The Deutsche Telekom Magenta Mobile Start campaign, we looked at click-through rates, and these were over 2 times higher than the global averages, especially for the arts and entertainment sector. They achieved a 0.17% CTR. In terms of engagement rates and people interacting with the banner, whether that's hovering or clicking or general engagement, it achieved 6.62% engagement rate. And then in terms of time spent engaging with the banners, we had an average which is over 20% higher than the global average for the business sector, which was 8.6 seconds people were engaging with the various banners. Not just these online metrics that Deutsche Telekom really wanted to look at. They wanted to look at more traditional branding KPIs, if you would, and the sales generation that was happening beyond the online and in-store offline. It was monitored during the second week of the campaign after the campaign launched, and online sales increased by 37% in the second week of the campaign. And then in-store sales actually increased by 18% the week after the campaign launch. So it's a clear metric there across online and offline. All the male target group were also surveyed, and we looked at more traditional marketing KPIs. And for product awareness, we had an increase in this target group of 7% and 11% for ad recognition and brand recognition. This is a perfect illustration of a client using us for doing activity across a number of our different products, the DSP and the DMP, to achieve fantastic results in programmatic branding. We most recently worked with on a branding meets performance style campaign was Pandora. So Pandora contacted us and asked us to build out a beautiful creative with a number of different call to actions to actually monitor sell-through rates and work back towards more performance metrics. So one of this campaign was to drive awareness, and we did this running 2 different high-impact media banners. We had a unique CTR of 0.26%. The next phase of the campaign was to engage users, and average engagement time spent on the banner was around 7.57 seconds, and we've got an in-house creative team who built these units. And as you can see from the screen here, there's a number of different interactive panels and elements. And that also lends into the phase 3 performance metric of acquisition. Within the banner, you can see a few Pandora O's, and if you hover over those, then you can also go straight to the buy pages of the products. And we found that overall, this was a great way of suturing up awareness, engagement, and acquisition. So really combining both branding and performance to create a very creative and beautiful campaign execution. And that just really us pushing the perception, lifting the lid a little bit on programmatic branding and how these creatives can be used to engage and infuse audience further. Thank you.
Nasha, that's great. Great to see brand campaigns being presented here. So I'm now going to pass over to Alex for our last case study for today.
Hello, I'm Alex Geddes. I'm head of travel here at Rocket Fuel. Let me just bring up my slide. Go on a second. There we go. So here at Rocket Fuel, I work with a number of different travel clients, all of which obviously are using us to help them predominantly drive new customers to their site. Rocket Fuel's got a slightly unorthodox approach to programmatic advertising, whereas we use an artificial intelligence at the core of all of our decision-making process, obviously overseen by people who are monitoring what the AI is doing. What that allows us to do is to segment first-party data, in this case, let's say, new customers who are coming through from various, obviously, on the sites of various advertisers that we're working with, segment behavior and find others who are acting in the same fashion as those new customers, and find others who are acting in the same fashion and serve them ads for the site to go on there, book a flight, book a holiday, whatever it might be. And as a result of which we are only then accredited with any new customers that we generate for our clients. So hence we've accumulated over the while we've been working here in the UK quite a number of different travel clients that we've been working with, all of whom love working with us simply because we're showing demonstrable incremental lift with regards to new customer conversions, which is really cool working at it from a DR perspective. What I want to run through with you is just one of the case studies that we have, most recent one that I've just acquired from my client Scandinavian Airlines. So SAS has been working with us for nearly 3 years now, and Simon, as you can see here from the quote, I've encouraged him to try and see if there's anyone else out in the market who can beat us with regards to CPA performance, which I'm pleased to say so far in nearly 3 years no one has. This is simply just down to the basis of, again, our AI constantly learning and understanding how Scandinavian Airlines' audiences behave, understanding how best to go about driving new customer conversions for them. And what we've seen over the time is that we've driven incremental volume of new customers year on year, and the CPA year on year has kept on decreasing. We're now plateau, and obviously we can't get much further down to where we are at the moment, but this is an example that SAS in the UK has taken to the rest of the world, and as a result of which Scandinavian Airlines in different regions such as the Nordics and the US and Asia are going to be rolling out programmatic solutions similar to what we've been doing here in the UK for their specific territories. So really, the core of what we're doing here with our clients is trying to drive as many new customers for them when we're looking at it from a DR perspective, and allowing them to quantify the results, obviously using their data that's being passed back to us as to whether those are genuinely new customers or not. With regard to obviously looking at future elements there, when we can work with other clients, we can also then incorporate elements into branding to drive further engagement using a DMP, our Rocket Fuel Origin DMP, which is the next step for Scandinavian Airlines as well, where we can then help them try and drive awareness of obviously flights leaving from specific airports that they're opening up, where they perhaps don't have any penetration in the market, and obviously then helping them to increase new customer conversions as well in those markets. And that's it.
Thanks, Alex. That's great. So I think what we'll do now is we'll just have a quick Q&A session. I'm going to go back to Joel and Kevin. Just back to basics, really. What would you highlight as a key first step for other brand advertisers who are kind of starting on this programmatic journey? What are the first key steps for them in developing their programmatic strategy?
Kevin here. For us, challenge was to drastically change the briefing because we were used to brief to skip the audience basically and say, okay, we do 18 to 34 years old women. We really had to look at the audiences in terms of what message can we tell to them, how can you define this audience, so it's much more work with personas instead of one big audience. And as a second step, finding the data cues with that. So you define this audience in terms of data. So we've used our own data from our platforms, but the future is to really go also with talk with our publishers how they can create relevant audiences for us.
So it's really about it's the opportunity of identifying more specific audiences than perhaps used to. Okay. Great, thanks. So Anna, just flipping back to you. So you talked about Vodafone in one of your case studies, and obviously this is already technology-focused business. So what did you find was a key challenge for them and using programmatic strategy?
Yeah, I think, one of the key things that any advertiser wanting to take more programmatic business in-house needs to consider the skill sets that they're going to need to do that. Now, for Vodafone, yes, they do have a lot of technologists there and engineers, but whether they're specialising in programmatic is another thing. What they did have and do have is a strong data analytical team that can help their partner, and in this case it was Blue Mango, to really harness the intel that they're getting from their programmatic campaigns and drive that further. But I think most advertisers unless they're absolutely enormous and can do this, I think at least in EMEA right now, should probably be using some kind of partner that can help them actually do this, and then start to think over the next 12 to 18 months, either a hybrid approach or with a view at some point that they may start wanting to take things in-house completely. But for now, I think very much it makes sense to utilise the partners out there, whether that's your agency or a managed service programmatic provider or a combination of the two. But I think that that's kind of one of the things that we would definitely recommend right now.
Okay, great, thanks. Yeah, so that kind of mirrors with what we're seeing in our research, that the skill sets need to be developed further currently. So to Natasha. So you talked about using programmatic for brand campaigns. Are you seeing a move towards traditional brand KPIs being used as metrics in these programmatic campaigns, the board or more widely used?
So in short, yes, definitely. Branding KPIs are sort of coming to the forefront a lot more now. And I think we've done a lot of work to lift a little bit on programmatic branding, especially here in the UK. And it's not just about prospecting and retargeting campaigns anymore. With all these high-impact, beautiful views that we can help you build, you can track engagements within them down to banner heat maps. You can track the propensity to buy, any of those sorts of traditional methods, as well as you can see in the case studies there. You can track back just whole engagement rates, and we can even attribute to online and offline sales. So in short, yes, and we've got sort of report and analysis and business intelligence teams who can also sit down and help you really realise the potential of programmatic branding for your campaigns as well.
Thanks. And then to Alex, so you talked about a travel brand, and we a lot of travel brands moving to programmatic. So what do you think, if you could sum up one key thing that other travel brands could take away from the Scandinavian Airlines case study, what do you think that would be?
It's really the core thing is to relook at incrementality. I think in this day and age of programmatic advertising, there's starting to become a little bit of smoke and mirror activity going on with other metrics of success. Anyone in travel, I mean, a lot of the time with display marketing budget online, it tends to be guided more towards looking at it from perspective of driving incremental volumes of revenue, new customers, etc. Well, this is what I see. So really you need to look at it by using your first-party data being passed back through what is called in industry as a parameterized pixel, which are a conversion pixel that sits on the conversion page of the site that passes back a parameter of data. In this instance, whether it's a new customer or an existing customer, the revenue, obviously, of that transaction and the booking or whatever reference ID it might be of that transaction itself. And then really using your own first-party data to measure whether a technology partner that you're choosing is actually demonstrably driving incremental volumes of conversions and revenue, etc. And the core of that being new customer acquisition a lot of the time within travel, because in my experience, a lot of travel clients that I've been working with have been focused more on the lower funnel activity, and they've neglected to date effective prospecting activity. So that tends to be core, and that's really where Scandinavian Airlines has been coming from. They wanted to increase the volume of passengers on their flights, make sure they were generating plenty of new customers. And in answer actually to Jao Gomes' question on the Q&A list, the way that the AI does that is constantly learning and understanding cookie behavioral data. So what it's doing is it's understanding how your audience is behaving. And travel, obviously, that's quite a fluid thing. So targeting a demographic, as the old ways of doing it are done, that can change from one season to another. But the AI understands the cookie behavioral patterns of your current existing audience as they're converting, and finds others who are acting in the same fashion, what websites they've been to, etc. And then obviously using your first-party data to drive demonstrable incremental volumes of new customers or revenue growth, you can then report back to your board of directors and say, look, out of this investment into programmatic, we've allowed Rocket Fuel's AI to understand exactly how our audience are behaving, and we've seen X amount of incremental growth of new customers and Y amount of growth of incremental revenue as a direct result of our investment into programmatic or AI-based programmatic.
Thanks, Alex. You've got to summarise there. So thank you very much for today's presenters and for everyone for joining and listening. You'll be able to share this webinar recording by contacting myself for the links. My email address is there. The programmatic library with all of these case studies and more is available on our website. And I would urge you, if you're an advertiser, a publisher or an agency, to go online and take our Attitudes to Programmatic 2016 survey. So this is building on the insights of the 2015 report, so it'd be really great to get your input to that. Annually, you can watch the first part of this webinar series, the sell-side one, on our website. And if you provide your feedback at the end of this webinar, that would be also great to help us plan our webinar programme going forwards. Okay, so thank you very much again to our presenters and to all of the people joining. I hope you found the session useful, and we'll close there. Thank you.